God, well, anywhere beneath 14th Street.
And the fun and the cultural element.
It's like this self-induced schizophrenia.
Well, I just thought you might not like what I've done and want to do something about it.
Sorry, I never know when I'm going to get in trouble.
This is WVFP.
He was getting along in age. It's not too many years before he died. And one of the first times I ever spoke to him, just me and him, he said, "I'm thirsty. I want you to get me a bottle of water." I said, "Okay." And he stopped me and said, "An Evian." Okay, yeah, old man.
Seems doable.
Hey, your bust is in the Opera House in Vienna. I'll get you an Evian. So, but we were at this opera festival, weird opera festival thing, right? So I got in a little opera festival van and I drove to the production area and they were like, "Evian? We're on a farm." I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So then I went to the other production place and they didn't have it. And then I went to where they feed the directors and the opera singers and stuff in the opera singer lunch house hall. And I'm like, "Do you guys have the Evian?" And they're like, "No, if you want something like that, you should just go to Mr. Mazel's house."
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Now you understand, it's been 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
I'm a young person. I want to make the old conductor happy. And so I'm sweating now. So now I'm sitting there in a van in front of his house because it's on the opera grounds. And I'm like, I go into his house, right into his fucking refrigerator right now?
Was
yes.
there another person to help you there? Or no, it was all.
No. So I went into his house and I went into his refrigerator. I know that sounds crazy, but I had been there with his children a couple nights before, so I felt like I owned the place. So I opened up his refrigerator filled with artisanal cheeses. There's no Evian in there. And as I'm just staring into Maestro Lauren Mazel's fucking refrigerator, his wife comes up behind me and she's like, "Excuse me."
Oh my God.
And she's like, I'm like, "Oh, hello."
This was in Vienna?
The famous German actress at the time. And I was like, "No, but she's German." And she was like,
Oh my God.
"What you looking for?" And I was like, "Hey, Mr. Mazel wants an Evian." And she said, "He knows there's no Evian."
Oh my God, he just did that to fuck with you?
I don't know. I was like, I just stood there and looked at her. She put her hand on. She's like, "He knows there's no Evian." And I was like, "Oh
So
my God."
when you went back to him, how did you?
I went in
not
there
live,
and I
are
went to the other assistant who was a very attractive young woman. And I said, "You tell him." And then she went over there and told him. But he knew.
Pretty
He
girls
wasn't
can break news.
But he wasn't expecting it because he knew that there wasn't any. So I don't know what's going on with that. But it kind of relates to my how do you say it? Chardonnay.
Oh, the pet nat.
Pet Nat Chardonnay.
Oh, did I send you on a fool's errand? Do you
Not
feel
a
like?
fool's errand because I found it. It's not Evian. I got
No,
it.
it's
But I have some questions about where you buy this product.
You just said a pet nat, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, because I don't know. Of course, she says this. I'm like, "Oh, of course." And then I
think she just meant a pet.
Now I'm Googling it, And so I called many places. It's very popular. Did you know that? Do you know who has the really good Nat? How do you say it again? One more time. I'll remember. Nat Pet.
Pet nat.
Pet Nat. Is the bottle stop in Beverly Hills, California.
Oh, that would have been a trek.
The
though.
Total Wines in downtown Los Angeles has a whole bunch of them. Very, when you Google this, da-da-da Chardonnay, it's just all California stores. And I was like, "Oh, this is going to be really easy." Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
so
fine.
sorry.
I like telling stories. This is the story.
I'm really not.
We're not
that
even
picky.
doing this on air.
You could have.
It's recorded. No, but it was so I'm calling everybody. I'm annoying everybody in the whole city because nobody wants to hear about wine from me. I'm not the kind of guy right there. So all the wine guys are like, "Wow, we have a blend." I'm like, "Whatever." And so I called the Astor wine guy and he's like, "I do the staff picks for those. We have 40 different kinds." I'm like, "Well, do you have the Chardonnay?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, give me a place to go. Where do I go?" And he goes, "Motherfucker, you're going to Brooklyn." And I was like,
I hope I didn't send you to
that.
Brooklyn.
He didn't say motherfucker. No, I wasn't going to Brooklyn.
No.
I was like,
I wouldn't wish that on my.
well, the next thing I was going to do was contact a trusted advisor and be like, "You have to go to this place in Brooklyn." That was the next. I was gonna pass
You could have
it.
contacted us and said.
I was gonna pass it. I was
What's your
gonna pass
other-
it to but then I started thinking I need to fulfill this challenge. So, but it was easy. I found a little natural place.
Yeah, just like a natural wine shop.
Right.
I go to Lacer? Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
Lacer. It's down.
Is that where you went?
No, they didn't. Their phone number doesn't pick up.
No.
But I know every single one of them now. So thank you for thank you for educating me.
I know Caitlin, yeah.
These are the kind of things. It's like I used to work a production job.
Nathan, where are you from?
South Florida originally.
Okay.
About 60 miles north of Miami, little
Yeah.
beach town.
You bought 60 miles north of Miami?
What? No.
Oh, about.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm from. I'm sorry.
You didn't buy.
I'm from the South. I have to open my mouth more when I'm speaking. It's all just a jumbled fucking mess. Welcome to WVFP. My name is Nathan, mainly Manhattan. That's the part that matters. Thanks for joining our podcast again. If you haven't gone and looked it up, it's only $5. There's like 50 episodes. Don't be a cheap ass. We've got a lot of really good stuff on there, but who cares about that today? Because we have the founders of Forever Magazine here. Minus Natalia Ruiz, the art director.
Yes. Yeah.
I looked her up. She's very successful.
She's very.
No wonder she doesn't want to blow a real job and come to New York City.
She does sometimes.
Does she?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Not only are you guys the founders and editors, right? Mm-hmm. Of Forever Magazine, but your work also appears in other places. You have your own work, appears in Forever Magazine, but also other places.
Madeline has a book.
Well, I'm getting to the book. You didn't give me a part. I'm going to say It Girl. I was going to do It Lit
He's
Girl or
revving our
something.
intro up.
I'm revving the intro up. Anika has a couple poems in Elizabeth Ellen's.
I sure do.
Hobart's? Is that the last outside of Forever thing that I can see? You guys have so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a story in Mew Mew House.
Yeah, that's right. And the literary review and all of that stuff back there. And Madeline famously has a new book out by Clash Books, Earth Angel, that the LA Book Review said that you're leading the revolution, I guess. Is the word revolution in there? I know what they made it feel like.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
They're very generous.
You're having much success. You guys were in paper and you're in Interview Magazine and your book's being reviewed everywhere. Congratulations on that.
And
thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
That's all the professionalism I have for you.
Great. Okay. Can we open our wine?
Yes. Okay, do you want me to have the intern do it or do you want to do it? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, okay.
I never called her
Don't
the
let
intern.
him abuse you.
I never called her the intern until she wasn't anymore.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was an intern until I got promoted. And then I realized my low
I
status.
started saying the word intern to her when I promoted her. Before we get like too far into this, and I ask you stuff you probably answer a lot about the genesis of the magazine and stuff. Tell us about the event, because that's a big deal, right?
The one that we have coming up?
Yes.
Yeah. So on Father's Day, we're having our first gala. We've never tried to fundraise before. Basically, we need a lot of help. We've been selling the magazine basically at cost.
Yeah.
For 2 years. We sell it at a loss to bookstores. We don't really understand about money. We've never charged for an event. So we decided to charge an obscene amount of money for one event.
It's like prohibitively expensive.
Prohibitively expensive,
But that's okay, because you're right. You know, I've been to 3 of them now and I didn't pay. They weren't ticketed or anything.
Yeah, I mean, we hate the idea of charging for an event. So rather than saying like, oh, we'll just charge $5 for each event, we said, what if we charged $110?
Yeah. Just do it one time.
Event. But it'll include an open bar all night, tables, food,
Opera,
there's opera,
live music,
lots of programming.
a lot of programs.
I have to tell you, $100 open bar all night. You're not going to make any money off me. I'm coming right there, and everybody should hear the discount in that.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yeah, I feel like
Absolutely.
you should advertise the open bar part heavily because that kind of changes
Chloe's
the
interested
price.
in one thing.
Yeah, we should advertise it heavily in general.
Sure. Yeah, we should advertise it more. Yeah, it's like a new kind of position for us to be like, please help us.
Yeah.
But
You guys famously didn't incorporate or anything like that, right? You just started this magazine.
I don't think I know what that is.
Yeah, no, we didn't. I actually am in the middle of registering our LLC in Delaware.
Okay,
So
that's where you do it.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, we're pretty anti-institution.
When
That's
did
okay.
you start? Like, what year did you found it?
2020.
2020. Okay, cool.
originally in California, right?
Yeah.
So help me put it together because I'm like a sleuth, but a stupid one. You went to Pratt, and so did the art director, Natalia. Is that right? Did you guys
Yeah.
meet there?
Yeah, Nat and I met at Pratt, and Madeline and I met in high school
Okay.
in Los Angeles.
So when you meet her at Pratt, are you in Los Angeles at that time? And this is why the book's Genesis is in Los Angeles, the magazine I'm in? Mm-hmm. Okay. I was just trying to like get it together. Because I'm a New Yorker, I have to know exactly when the California stuff happened.
You're from New York.
No, but I represent.
Right, you're from South Florida.
I represent, though. I have the show and stuff.
Of course.
Yes.
We're mainly there.
My audience wants to hear California and then quickly get to the bottom of what's going on with that.
Understood.
No, I'm just kidding.
We just grew up there. We got out.
The good get out. No, I love California. That's what they used to say about my hometown, the good get out.
That's where the pet nat is, apparently. So you have to go there.
Yeah, Beverly Hills, California. At the bottle stop.
California is great just because no one, like mass literacy hasn't quite
Made it
hit.
there, yeah.
It
Oh,
hasn't
nice.
made it there.
I like that.
Which is why, for instance, in the LA Times piece, they credited us with starting the new literary trend as if we were like going around teaching children how to read
Yeah.
or something.
They're definitely, they're not wrong, though. They're not wrong.
Maybe
I
by
get the
Californian standards.
Yeah.
I think in New York, people read pretty widely.
You went to New York and started a magazine and it took over California. And they just have nothing to compete there.
Sort of the reverse.
Yeah.
I started it in California, and then it seemed inevitable that I had to move here because you can only go so far in California.
With books. Yes, okay.
Well, yeah, you hit up.
I find it interesting that everybody's admitting that right now. But I agree, But, not to discount Los Angeles too much. They probably have a lit scene and you're famous there now.
They do have a
But that's kind of what I meant there, though, was like you're famous here. You moved the magazine here. But then you went back out there just now and you were famous. So you kind of moved it here.
Madeline was complaining recently about her book party in Los Angeles. She was like, I felt like such a loser.
Wow.
There were 200 people there and I
I'm
didn't
sorry, I
know
didn't see that
any
for
of
you.
them.
I
They
was
weren't
kinda-
my friends. And I was like, I think that's,
I feel like that's the opposite of loser. That's like
I had the same feeling.
People you don't know. A lighter?
Yeah, a cigarette lighter.
Is this a communal table, babe?
Yep.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Yep.
I've made the same mistake.
Chloe, you're on.
Yeah. I'm on for what?
I gotta get a lighter.
Oh, for the opening? I'm really bad at it, but I'll try.
What happens with this video? Does this go somewhere?
No, it's not. That's not what's up.
Oh, I thought you were telling me to open it. Oh, sorry, guys. No. Okay, so yeah, 2020 you started it, and was that so? You went to Pratt in New York, but you started it in LA. So were you back in LA by then too, or was this
During
like
the pandemic, I was living in Oakland and I was like a total failure. I was working in a taqueria and I wanted to kill myself every day. And then I started talking to Madeline on the internet, who'd been my good friend when we were young teens. And she was still trying to write, and she was always my favorite writer. And I was excited that she was still writing stories. And then she was putting together this cemetery reading. And she asked me to come down and read for it. I had no hand in the organization. She was just like, "Are you writing something?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually writing this piece about Belle Delphine selling her bath water as my grad school application. I could come read that."
And it worked. You got into grad school. Every single one.
Oh my God, the standards could not be lower. Yeah, so I think we were both just kind of excited and surprised that we were mutually both still trying to write.
Yeah, we just reconnected it, and really authentically.
That's kind of crazy that you reconnected too from high school. That you weren't still
Yeah.
to find your way back to each other. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was great. Anika was my bad friend. It was I would
And now Madeline is my bad friend.
Really?
I think so.
Do you think so?
Kind of. You're really bad.
But for shorter stints. I don't have the stamina that I used to.
When you meet you guys out in the wild, it's so obvious that you're super good friends. The only other explanation is that you're paying her as a bodyguard. That's the only other reason.
I'm honored you think I have enough money to afford a
No,
pony.
I know. I'm just saying that you guys are so tight. And the first little conversations I had with Anika were all around protecting you. And making sure. Yeah. What's this media vulture want with my friend Madeline? She was. No,
I said she doesn't have media training, honey.
She said a bunch of stuff to me that was very funny.
Yeah.
But it comes off right away that you guys are really close knit.
We love each other.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. And I think
Yeah.
that that's really cool.
Yeah, I think we've both kind of pilled each other on like the power of female friendship. I don't know. You spend like I guess like your early 20s trying to like abolish all of the feminism that you've learned in college, and then you have to spend your late 20s like reclaiming it.
Is that
Very
true?
well put. Yeah, I completely agree. It's so true.
There's a lot. There's also a quotient of girl power just generally going around right now, isn't there?
Yeah. I've been realizing, like, in
I've been getting really into girl power
I'm
lately.
into girl power as well.
Yeah.
Like, in times of war when like the men go off to war and all the women
Right.
have to do everything. Well, I was like at the gym today at noon because I have a work from home job, and I saw that it was only men, and I was like, it's because all the women are at work.
Yeah.
All the men are at Crunch Fitness.
Yeah. That's like true kind of.
Right, but
Yeah.
the war is just the culture war.
What the hell? What's happened? It's like the guys had. I wanted this to be a post-COVID show
Yeah.
when it started.
Cool.
But we weren't really out of it. Like when the show first started, I was saying, I made a lot about how people were responding to me, and the big part, the gender part of that, was a lot of young women were like, "Answer yes. What time? Where is it? These are the specifications." And a lot of the men were like, "No, I'm scared. I'm not. I hate to be out of the gate
Well,
like
young
that."
men are really disempowered. I mean, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. Why? Which is sort of how there's like a new misogyny.
No, yeah, I mean,
like-
because girls literally control the media and
Also
the workforce.
because they're now like they have this fear that we'll never know of like being canceled, like people, which
Yeah.
is just like permeated into everything.
The older people, or the guys.
no,
Or
men.
anyone, just men in
men.
general.
Are guys more concerned with that? You think?
Sure.
Yeah.
Weird, because they feel like they're the target of it.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
they're more frequently rapists.
This is true.
I think statistically, not to be
Makes sense.
misanthropic, but
But I just no, it's true. I just like running this show really opened my eyes up to professional girl bossism and what was happening in the city. And I just kind of feel like I'm still wanting to tell the audience, boys, come outside.
totally. Yeah, boys can girl boss too close to the sun also,
Right.
you know.
Right. Do you think though that there was something like super positive about that era we went through that was ultra girl boss, that I don't
I
know
think
how
that
old you were when
the way
happened,
that the culture cycle, you mean like 2017, 2018?
Yeah, there was this moment, well, even before that, there was this moment where at the time I was a theater tech, and I remember all of the girls who would come out of undergrad at that time in the theater were very like, shut up, don't tell me what to do.
I think the
And I was like,
culture-
yo, I'm your boss. And they were like, the fuck you want? Not for long, buddy. And like there was just like this mood that was happening, which I'm not saying is bad. Actually.
I don't think it was cool then. I think the culture needs to have chewed something up and like spat it back out in order for it to be like absorbed in a post-ironic way, which is unfortunate. I wish it wasn't like that, but I don't think anyone can actually enjoy a cultural movement that's timely and authentic and
Right.
new.
The
That's
pendulum
always
had to
going to
swing
be
really far for it to like,
embarrassing.
reach a stasis, because now
I get
it's
that.
a little more equal. Like we
I mean, we're still
for
just
granted.
reacting to things.
Right,
Yeah.
right, of course. But like now, I mean, like we don't feel like we're getting jobs as affirmative action, like because like they need to hit a quota, or I mean,
But we
maybe.
are.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying it had to kind of be really earnest in order for everyone to later kind of digest it as a more...
Yeah, anything that's like authentically, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about this idea that there's like increasingly less new things, and that
Right.
novelty is at this ultra high premium right now, which I think is
Yeah.
like a lot of what we think about when we're making the physical magazine is like, how do you make this novel? And especially with AI, it's like it can do all of these things that are amazing, but it can't produce anything novel because it's ultimately just like a collection of everything that's already existed.
Right.
So I think maybe we could move into a space where things could be like new and kind of imminent and still be exciting. But I think that's like what sincerity, maybe we need a new sincerity.
Right. Sincerity is the new troll. That was the original.
Yeah. You have to kill
That was the
part
original
you
tag of this
apprentice.
show, but it didn't really work out.
Oh, really? What's the tag now?
It's nothing. I don't tag anymore.
Okay.
So please watch it. That's about it.
Where do
I had all
you
these
watch
stupid things. Well, there's a Patreon, there's a YouTube, there's clips on all of these services.
Are you doing numbers?
I actually pay a service to do a service. What?
Are you doing numbers?
You mean like views and stuff?
Yeah.
I get a lot of views, especially from the Apple and the Spotify is a little different because I can't tell. They have a different
Yeah.
tracking mechanism, but the Apple I'm doing really well at, in my opinion.
There are 3 cameras here. Are you like cutting between them?
No.
Okay.
This is the first camera is the one I use, and the other one is for people who can afford more. So as you go up in cameras,
Got it.
but the sincerity thing is really interesting to me. I love your guys' comments about making a magazine because you could. Like you made a magazine and then it was real. Or you said something recently about how, nobody told you could make a magazine. Everybody told you magazines were dying. I really also like.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's as someone being like, no one listens to CDs, and Madeline's like, oh well, I'm actually gonna go home
Right.
and burn a CD.
right.
Right. I mean, yeah, like you
Yeah.
always say, you can just print it out. Like,
And it is
you
just
could
like
also-
grasping for novelty.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's like this thing going on where there's a transfer from old media to new media, and a lot of stuff's just being left for dead, like web pages, right? Like certain things are not coming along with us, and so
Right.
maybe there was a lot of people who thought print literature wasn't coming with us, at that moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, as much as we are trying to create novelty, we're also capitalizing on nostalgia because, like, our website
Yeah.
is like an homage to Web 1 and like
Yeah.
or like GeoCities, and then I don't know. I mean, even like we were looking at old grand streets I'm thinking of like themes. Culture and history is cyclical, and like AI regurgitates our collective memories, but like we do too. We just
Yeah.
just don't do it as quickly.
I was looking at the magazine today and had the intrusive thought, print is dead. Is this something worse?
That's great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
totally.
But yeah, I think a lot of my philosophy in my own work and in doing Forever is just like take something that already exists, like a rigorous literary magazine, and make it a little dumber.
I love it. I love every second of it. I can't tell you how much I identify with some of those statements that I saw you guys making in like Interview Magazine about how, something just exists when you're doing it. I started the show because I thought there was not a lot of representation of like downtown.
For dumb people.
Well, kind of. I interject an absurdity into it. And
Yeah.
I also would like to connect with some of the more serious downtown people on a casual level. And I think that's really cool, but nobody really wants to do it because we're still kind of coming out of the crafted image phase that millennials have all left for us, the internet crafting of ourselves. And I think there's a bravery to breaking that, especially for women.
Yeah, because to be taken seriously as a woman, you had to be really like sterile and institutionalized. But like, there's always been like,
You had to be institutionalized.
I mean, literally, yeah,
Just a couple weeks at a time.
like in a sanatorium.
That's how we finish actually each print magazine.
Yeah, we literally
Right.
all.
One of our fathers sends us to the psych ward.
Yeah.
We just
Right.
spent some time really getting into the theme.
Yeah, another
it's like-
institution, crumbling institution you can take over is the Betty Ford Clinic.
Oh my god.
Nobody even talks about
I was
that anymore.
just I don't know why that was just maybe I was reading Chaos or something and they talked
Right.
about the Betty Ford Clinic. So iconic.
Yeah, everyone used to do it. It
No
used
one
to be a
ever
thing.
threatens to send me to the Betty Ford Clinic. Are you kidding me?
Somewhere in the late 90s, by the end of all that, it was like if you attempted suicide, it was just better to say Betty Ford.
It's like
and
in
it became
Gossip Girl, they would always send you to Canyon Ranch whenever like one of the kids tried to kill themselves. And
Is that where Dr. Phil sends people?
It's like a spa, but it's like you can't leave on your own accord.
Right.
You know.
so where they
Dr.
sent
Phil
Paris.
sends people to like the wilderness shit where you're like in like
Oh
I don't
my
think that's like
God.
Canyon Ranch.
Like the thing that happened to Brace Belden where they just like kidnapped
Yeah,
you and
no,
then they make
literally,
you do
there's
Yeah,
survival
like,
in the
there's
night.
a lot of kids
Yeah.
that were sent to wilderness. It's in Utah
Yeah.
because their child labor laws are less.
yeah, it happened
Nice.
to Paris Hilton.
This is
She's
a
like-
farm job.
I mean, it was a weird like like Lord of the Flies thing. Like you'd earn tampons by like performing like acts of bravery.
I don't know what I thought you were going to
Acts
say.
of bravery.
Wait, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but I mean, like calling it dumb is kind of Like, I mean, there's a historic precedent for like smart literature being tongue in cheek, like Mad Magazine, or
Yeah.
like even like I don't know. I was looking at some early New Yorkers, and like there is a way to be playful and taken seriously. I just like it hasn't been done exclusively.
I
by
think it
women
has
yet.
something to do with what you were saying about like the breaking of presentation and somehow like breaking the fourth wall or breaking kayfabe or
Yeah.
breaking like the seriousness that, because I think to hype yourself up into the state of being like, I'm going to make a magazine, you
Right.
have to have some kind of like, you have to have at least enough self-seriousness to get it done.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, you're like, and what if it was
But
kind
and
of
then
a punchline?
Right, but then it like if it's by women, it usually has to be like about women. There's like Jezebel or like
Yeah.
but like it's always at the like the content always at the end of the day has to be feminine. But I think we just wanted our audience to be like
Regular.
anyone. Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting what you were saying about how there's a sense of seriousness just in making it, because there is so much like shit posting going on, but then to do that in print, like that's kind of a, not that you're like shit, but you know what I mean? Like to
Yeah.
have it, to take it less seriously, but it's such a process to like put it together. You get some credibility just in the fact that it exists, like bottom line.
Right, like we took the
So-
joke so far that we put it out and are losing
Really committing to the bit.
Yeah.
And now we're $13,000 in debt.
seriously need money.
Please come to the
please come to the gala. It's going to be awesome. in here.
Jesus
It's gonna be
Christ.
so fun.
I trust you guys now for events. I've been to a
Thank
couple
you.
of events,
It's
and
honor.
when I saw the one in Bushwick, I was like, only for Beatrice am I going to Brooklyn, you know? And I look, I was like, well, if the Forever Girls are doing it, maybe I'll go out there.
That,
So I have, like, a trust now with
We
you.
we went back and forth about throwing it in Brooklyn, but it was great.
It was Bushwick. It was a Tuesday night, and I was there.
Wow.
So, you know.
Yeah, people.
No, lots of people were.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never want anyone to have a bad time at our events, and I feel like we feel the same way about the work that we choose for the magazine. Like, we just don't want it to be tedious. We don't want you to have a bad. And I mean, if you look at Madeline's book, like that's what's so kind of amazing about it is just like the desperation to be liked. That's like ultimately a feminine thing, and that's why it's so captivating.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with my therapist.
At the end, you're like, so did you like it? For God's sake.
I literally
Do you like me?
at the end of the book for the reprint, I should have a like questionnaire. Like,
Do you like me?
Do you like me now? Do you like me more than when you started this book?
pretty, like
But that's, I mean, that makes your book so much more successful than 99% of other debuts because it's catering towards, you know, much like when you were a karaoke hostess in Japan, you're thinking about, you know, you're throwing red meat to your base.
yeah, the reader's
Yeah.
always right.
Right. What you've got the book now. They're out there calling you the new queen of alt lit.
They are.
Yeah, sure they are. And what do you think that is? Do you think it's the stylistic kind of almost like this Maupassanttian existing in time with you, like that I really like with it. I know you do the really smart turns of phrase at the end, and you're very witty and stuff. But I like the theme and the style too.
Thank you.
And I really like just kind of like your voice is like overwhelming me when I read it. And I'm like there with you, you know what I mean? As we're being ironic and stuff. I feel like it's really good. I wish I was a better critic, but I have to say to everybody who's wondering if they, you know, read Forever and they think they already know what this is, it feels like the next step kind of, right? To what you guys do
Totally.
stylistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
The
think
book is so good. It's my
It's
favorite.
I
really good.
appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
What is it? You know, the other thing, some other smoke I want to blow up your ass, because this is true.
Oh my God,
What did
stop.
I say? Do you remember what I text you? So I bought this book at Bushwick. I think I read it all before I went to sleep. I read most of it before I went
Yeah.
to sleep that night.
Okay, people keep saying that. They're like, I read it all in one sitting, or like, I like haven't read a book in 4 years.
You're
and
like,
read
I
it."
get it. It's short.
And I was like, okay, I wrote a book for the illiterate. But that's fine. I like our friend Justin Taylor was saying like, I love that like your quote in the beginning went from being by sought to a quote from We Bought a Zoo. And I was like, that's sort of what I go between, like oscillating between being like like really heady and annoying to being like completely flippant.
Pretending to have read theory to pretending to have never read anything.
Bro,
Yeah.
I read half of it, and then
That's what matters.
it spends like 700 pages just like describing an apartment. It's so long.
What are you talking about?
This book called a Life. Have you read it?
The Balzac book, or is that's what your epigraph was from?
Well, never mind. Let's.
Don't ask us about books.
All right, I bought Ulysses. I read 30 pages of it.
I really can't.
Then I read Madeline's book. And then I was looking at Ulysses. Look, I have some bad things to tell you. First of all, this is just like The Simpsons for Irish people. You know, it's just referential. It's never-ending reference through like theme, almost like a musical. Like first we're in Venice, and then we're in the Great West, and then we're like in Shakespeare's time.
You should do the audiobook.
Yeah, I know. And I was looking at this book and I was thinking, what am I going to tell people when I tell them, oh, I bought like the really expensive edition of this book and then now I'm not reading it. But I was like, I just kind of want to mouth off some professor somewhere like, this book's terrible.
Earth Angel is at least 3 times as good as Ulysses.
God damn right.
I would say.
And more educational.
Don't say that.
Okay, guys.
It's okay. Your expensive Ulysses is good for.
It sucked. And
It's good for you.
it was terrible. And I actually I've read some stuff, but I have to tell you that the classics aren't all they're cracked up to be, especially on that one. I'm not a big fan. I'm going to go ahead and die on that hill that this book has been. I don't know why it was popular, because it said some stuff about jerking off.
Kind of a snooze.
There was a Supreme Court case, and now we have to read this book for another 100 years. That's how I get it. Okay.
I'm like, there was a court case involving Supreme. That's so cool.
Awesome.
Oh, well, fuck that book. What were you reading? I mean, you had to have cared about literature at some point.
I do care about literature.
What were you reading? What were you reading when you started this magazine?
Oh, back in 2020? Probably that's when
I mean, Tyrant catalog, right?
yeah, like I was just trying to go through the Rolodex in my head. I was reading Preparations for the Next Life, like a lot of like big fat books at the time. I read like Helen DeWitt's The Last Samurai. I just read like A Little Life, like all those big heavy. Like
I just read
remember
The
in 2020
Flamethrowers, which is
I
the
read
heavy book for
Flamethrowers,
me.
The Knicks, which is
The
another-
Knicks, yeah, you sent that
all
to
of
me.
these like paperweights at the time. That was 2020, I guess.
But
because
those were all
people
page turners, and I think
Yeah.
that was the thing that we like kind of tried to take was like, what if we could, have all 2,000 word page turners?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Especially because I don't know, so much of the writing that I gravitate towards and that I write is written in kind of lazy fragments, which is like, a shitty way to write, but you realize that it's like palatable because you can look at your phone in between looking at the blocks of
It's
writing
paced.
and you don't like.
Yeah, I mean, if you're reading something online, you have to be cognizant of how people are reading it.
Yeah.
You're kind of a little more of an imagist in your writing, right? That's kind of like a more paced thing, akin to poetry. Would you agree with that? That you do a lot of imaging?
I like images. I like I think tracking objects was like a quick and dirty trick that I learned when I started learning how to write.
Yeah.
And just being like, oh, if you have the same object appear in 2 different contexts, then you don't have to have any actual change.
That's right. Now you're moving.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say maybe, I don't know.
Anika's finishing her novel, which is fantastic.
This was my next question. Was now your novel's out? I'm guessing that maybe Anika's is
you
coming
allowed to
next.
talk about
Are you allowed to talk about it? Because I'm not cutting.
I
this.
mean, no one knows it. My book is called Flat Earth, and it's a small novel about the New York City art world and
Nice.
right-wing conspiracy theories.
Oh, good. All
It's
right.
awesome. It's so good. Can you say where it's coming out or not? We're not allowed.
Not
It
yet,
isn't.
but I'm working with an amazing editor who I really trust, and I feel really privileged to be working with. Yeah, and we're both represented by Michael Mungiello.
Inkwell.
Shout out to my team.
There you go.
No, I don't know. I feel really lucky that we. Yeah, you were saying this. You were telling me that you were telling your therapist the other day about just like I think neither of us having like competition in our friendship, which is something that I feel with literally all other women
Yeah, it's crazy.
that I ever like. It's insane. But I don't know. I feel like we created our own world together, and we're kind of just like in this little terrarium that we built.
Yeah, absolutely. I never, even though like we're in the same field, and I felt competitive with friends that are even tangentially in writing, but I never feel like your successes really feel like my successes. I'm like, we're doing this together. And
100%.
Anything I just want to share.
Even if it didn't feel that way, that's the truth, right? Like one of your successes really is both of yours now.
Absolutely, because we're both holding onto a balloon that doesn't have enough oxygen to lift both up. So like if one of us gets a little bit, like we take the other with
Totally. You know, it is just like that. Yeah. No, I don't know. I think also there just wasn't really writing like Madeline's in the world. Like I had such at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I saw her read the story Hostage Number 4 from the collection. And I just remember thinking like there's nothing like this, and like I felt such a strong sense of urgency, not even just like because it was good, but because it felt like it was just addressing such a void. And I like immediately like called my mentor who had been like responsible for my one ever publication. I was like, we got to get this published like yesterday. And I just had such a strong sense that like it needed to be in the world. And I think that's like
you
what
helped me so much. And then like we spent like a year figuring out what it was we were supposed to do together. Like we for a while we were like in a writing workshop. We tried to make a movie. There was so long.
Is it still in the drawer?
Oh my God, we literally
we still have Max Landis's camera.
We have this really expensive camera. It's just sitting.
Nice.
Yeah, if anyone wants to shoot the movie.
Yeah, we wrote a whole movie. I mean,
Madeline wrote a treatment.
Well, it's like a man on the street style. So a lot of it, I was like, insert like improvised.
Yeah, insert
dialogue
scene.
here. Yeah.
No, we like knew that we had to be working together, and we were just like troubleshooting it, which I think as a writer, like I've never had a collaborative practice before. I've never been in a band, you know? So I think for us, we were kind of like, what,
You
like,
would
we're
look
like,
awesome in a band. You should totally be.
You guys got out easy on this because you're such good friends, right? I mean, this is normally a super hard
good friends
process.
when we started
It's
working
really,
together.
really hard. We get
Like,
in really bad fights.
I think we like our friendship was like built though out of how much we loved each other's work, because we were like just becoming friends again, and then like we bonded kind of overall. I don't know, like the working together was kind of like cooked into the friendship.
Anika introduced me to Nat. I was deciding to become more serious with the magazine and was sort of questioning just my life in LA in general, and Anika was like, I know this amazing creative director that I went to Pratt with, and set me up on sort of a date with her, and we had like a 3-hour dinner martini and oyster time where we were both kind of like sniffing each other out, and by the end of it I was like, we have to all work together. And then we did, and like it's not like, oh my God, it's so much fun because we all braid each other hair and are best friends. Like we fight like
no, I wish you guys
crazy.
were good at braiding hair.
Oh my God, I know we're so bad at it. And like
Really?
we like fight and cry and like say terrible things and like have to like Zoom. I never want to Zoom with my friends. Like but we do it.
I would love to see that shit. I would love to see you guys yelling at each other.
Oh my God,
Oh my
I had to take an HR workshop online because like people like we kept fighting. It was so volatile, and I was like, I have to learn.
Do you let the interns
But
see
you know
you
what?
fight?
Like, I think there is this thing, like, especially in our kind of recent sort of like growing pains of realizing we have to find a way to fund this thing, and we have all of this debt, and being like, oh shit, can we make another one of these? I think there is this thing like when two people meet and they realize they like have to have a baby together because there's some like combination of things that's like begging to be born, where we're just like, we have no choice, we have to like deliver this.
Really like you,
like it
but
feels
we
like it's
have
being
to.
like pull. I don't know. That sounds really like
No, that's
pretentious, and like,
so
but it's like there's something that wants to be made in the specific chemistry between a specific group of people.
And it did really work out. I mean, literally, Anika was like, at one point she called me and was like, I have to be real with you. You have to move to New York for this to scale to what I think it could be. And I was living in LA. I had a really serious boyfriend and like a whole life. I worked at a literary agency, and I was like, okay, I just moved here. I like moved in with my
What did you tell him? You were like,
I didn't tell him anything. I told him I was coming back. He knows. I'm so sorry.
we really liked you.
I
was just an LA
told him
thing.
I was just going for a month, and then I never came back.
Right.
When was that?
That was last year, like exactly this time.
Okay.
We like had just done a launch at the Ace Hotel in Los Angeles for our issue three? Was
Three.
it issue 3? Wow. And then Anika was like, I need to like take you back to New York with me. You know, you've gone as high as you can go in the LAC.
And then I learned like 3 months later from the person who was traveling with us that apparently we like sat next to each other and talked really loudly for like 7.5 hours straight on this red eye, and that it was just like complete and like
We had no idea. Is that right? Like,
yeah. But I just imagine it's like pavement, like sitting around in a bar in the 90s being like, oh, this band's gonna be huge. Like,
yeah, I know. We were literally like dreamscaping on the plane, and the whole time. We don't fight in front of the interns to answer your question.
oh my god, never in front of the children.
have about
I'm just trying to build
10 interns. Most recently, one of them who's a little too hot. Like, it's like become a
They
liability.
look scared of you guys. When I saw them,
Really?
when I saw them
They're
this last time, they
They're
were
like
like,
in college.
like she would come over and they'd all be like, hi.
They sit at attention when Anika comes over.
Yeah, they
She's
did.
scary.
I
I'm
know.
nice to the interns.
I know all about
I'm
it.
the like cool dad that like sneaks them a beer. Anika walks over and they like straighten their ties.
Well, I don't know. I feel very grateful in all of them, and like especially I do like Skylar,
I'm
who
just
we work
teasing
with. No, I know, but Skylar, who we work with the closest, who I like, is such a genius. Actually,
Yeah,
She's too smart. Get rid of her. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, too smart, too hot. You're like,
Skylar's great. Then there's like the new hot one, and then 2 of them came up to me in LA, and there just were these guys kind of like orbiting me, and I was like, "What's up?"
we
And they're
like only met in like Google Docs.
I didn't, and they're like, "We're your interns." We've been in a group chat for
What's
a
up,
year.
boys?
And I was like, "Oh my god, hey, it's so nice to meet you."
Sounds like a dream.
I know. They're like, "We edited the magazine," and, like, and then Allie and John were like, "Are they abusive?" Like in a joking way, and they were like, "No," because no, we were actually abusive. Like the culture at Forever Mag was actually toxic.
No, imagine. Just me reprimanding the interns for something that I wrote, being like, "Who wrote this?"
Oh my god, when you oh my god, Anika sent a text being like, "Hey, like, just can you
I don't know
run
who reached out to
run
bookstores like
emails by me like before next time?" And they were like, "You form wrote that email."
I was like, for sure.
Yeah, sorry, Coleman. One of them I think is in like Ohio too.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of
there's a couple flyovers, which
takes a village.
which is cool. If you see where the magazines go out to,
I made a map.
a shocking number of them go out to Middle America,
I believe it.
which I feel like we really kind of get shoehorned as being like a downtown publication, but we're
Downtown
actually
publication, we have 2 buyers in Nigeria.
Nice.
We have our European map is growing. It's starting to I like pin it every time someone from a new place
That's cool.
buys a magazine, and
Well, if you think Los Angeles doesn't have much of a literary scene, what do you think's going on in Chicago? You know,
I
it doesn't
have no idea.
surprise me one bit that you guys sell magazines in Middle America.
I went for my semester abroad. I went to Chicago actually, and
Did you enjoy it?
I actually know what the lit scene like is in Chicago, and it it's half of it is in a bar that people went to thinking that they were gonna watch a sports game and didn't realize it was a poetry reading,
Right.
and then half of it's like pretty. It's just like 5 years behind what everything else.
it's like Lindsay Hunter still a writer in Chicago.
I have no idea. I just know Sam is there, Sam Berman. And
Sam Berman, yeah.
The story I always think about of Chicago is when it burned down, the Queen of England offered to buy them a new library, and that's when they found out there had been no library. And Chicago made it to become a giant American city, but never had a library. And Queen of England was like, "What did you have? I'll replace it." And they were like, "Well,
That's awesome.
nothing. There wasn't one."
how did they not? They had
So the
World
first
Fair.
library, yeah, exactly. Well, so the first library in Chicago is funded by the English because
That checks out. That's a story I did not know about Chicago.
I hope I made that up.
That's awesome.
I've been telling that story for years and years.
Really?
I just hate Chicago,
Really? Why?
so I just like clash. It's the weather, the people. I went to college in the Midwest.
Where?
You did.
There's like one girl I'm mad at, so now they can all burn in hell.
For sure.
A state
Totally.
school in Minnesota.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You want to talk about her?
You could talk about it if you want.
She's doing really well.
Oof.
Sorry to hear that.
Happiness is the best revenge.
I have a television show, so
We could fuck with her if you want.
no, she's great. She's a nice person.
I was
She
just
started putting like pine cones in her car.
I was
she's
just
really
telling
nice.
Anika about this like pine cone thing. Okay.
in the
I'm not telling it, but we could fuck with her.
you're not gonna give away the trick, but we could do it. No, she's a very nice person. You know what happens?
The Jakarta technique. Like,
What happens is
My like Abu Ghraib, like it's like torture. No, go.
no, that's fine. She's a very nice person,
Mm-hmm.
professor type of person, and eventually turned to me and was like, "Hey, you ever planning on not doing this art thing and like maybe I don't know, get some money?" And I was like, "Hey, I gotta go. I heard the train blow just as you were saying that."
Oh, okay. I think
That's
it's
how that
cool
works,
To be
you
a
know.
sellout, actually.
No, it is cool. I just
I'm
you
a
know
copywriter.
I mean, you have this
and I
great
write absolute
studio.
garbage.
that's
and-
actually the one thing I don't like about your book.
what?
That last page that says you're a copywriter doesn't say author, founder of a magazine. You're being like really, that's a little much. Because I looked at that and I was like, copywriter,
I'm the copywriter.
author, hello, writer, hello.
You know what someone told me about bios the other day that blew my mind?
What?
Like changed the whole way that a bio should have something about you that people can't find on the internet.
Oh, but okay. I hate when I read a bio that's
Yeah.
proud mother of.
Yeah, I'm with her.
It'd be
Or it's
like
like,
that.
she also bakes cakes for the
Ran
family.
a 4K and under.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
I want it to be short and to the point. I want it to have negative.
Yeah.
But what if you're just like, oh, like Anika Jade Levy like was a victim of Giardia? Like there's good ones that you can like do.
If it's genuinely
You
funny,
can
but
be
if it's
really
like
funny.
dog
If
mom,
you're not actually funny, then you're gonna be dog mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a fucking wedding
Yeah,
speech.
you're not like.
No, I don't know. It's hard to find like a serious.
Like,
I don't know.
yeah, there's
But
no
it is
wrong.
like, how do you have? There's no way to have mystique when you're online.
Well, that's part of that
It's
problem, isn't that?
So
isn't it?
undignified to be visible.
Yeah.
that you have to like. I guess your qualifiers as an American are like your job and where you're from. Whereas like, I mean, this is like a big line from Matt's play. It's just like when I asked someone in. Like, when someone asks me how I am, the first thing they ask is, like, how my job is or something. What is that line from Times Square? I don't know. I've seen it 7 times now because I'm in it.
I know what you're talking about.
But, like, yeah, I mean, how else would you qualify, like, what you do?
That's what people want to know. And when I go to like a show and I look down at like the director's bio, I want to know, first of all, where did you go to school? I want to know
Right.
immediately where you went to school.
Right, because
Where are you from? Where'd you fucking go to school?
They're your laurels, yeah.
No, it's because I'm like, it's like an Instagram profile where you want to be super judgy all the way down. You know what I mean? Like I need stuff to be judgy about. You know, so
But I
where'd
think
you go to
that
school? Oh, I
signifies
hate
more.
Philadelphia. And then I need to go
But
down
that's
this.
just like saying something that that's just like a really big purchase.
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
That's really all colleges.
Oh no, I don't
Like
care.
it says something about your spending.
Oh no, I'm also like down on college too. But I want to know. I want to know like, you know, what's going on with people. And you were right about the like, where are you from? What do you do? You know, where did you go to school? What other shows did
I try
you
to give
do?
the bare minimum because I like to think that my work will stand on its own.
I like that.
And then people can do some digging and easily find everything about it.
That's what I like. I for years just want people to never know unless they honestly want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really easy to find out everything about us as you did before, you know.
Right. I did do that. That's true.
Did you find out anything really scandalous?
No.
Anything that you were like,
No. I would never say it anyway. I mean, you know, I'm like a scenester. I know everybody's secrets and stuff, but you guys are new in town. Plus, like,
you've been here
Anika's
10 years.
and I can't creep on Anika. She's like a policeman in the room. She knows what everybody's saying. She knows what everybody's doing. You get really close to her.
I'm
She already has
such a
something
cop.
to say.
It's such a
She's
problem. I'll try to be better about it, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, you're a really present and plugged in person. Sometimes I feel like I'm not like that. Like someone can be speaking to me and I won't notice. Like I get that feeling like, oh, this person's been talking to me. And
I have that feeling sometimes.
Do you?
I think everyone has that feeling.
Okay.
That someone's been talking about you?
No, I mean like
Do
I
you
don't
even-
feel so present sometimes. I feel
Yeah.
like Anika's a super present person. Like you want her kind of
Yeah, you
In
will,
charge
someone
of-
will do something that impresses you and you will hang on to it. It's amazing. Like, and then remember it. Like, someone will play a song you like and forever you'll be like, that person's gonna DJ forever.
do you
I
have
really
a
don't forget it. You did that with Amina, you did that with Chloe. Like,
I can
Okay,
see that.
great DJ sets.
yeah, you're right. You just like see quality in people and like, but know where it is, like specific. You're just really good at you'd be really good at grooming someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Or getting rid of the weak link. Like I'd want to send her in to investigate who's messing up the ship.
She could just,
Yeah,
like,
I'd be a good
take,
corporate
like,
raider.
yeah. I should fire everybody.
Which is kind of what I'm doing now.
Which is what you do, yeah. You take a piece of marble and you turn it into a sculpture. Like it was already in there.
I turn it into a tiny cube of trash.
No, you make it really cool.
No, I don't know.
No, Anika's a cool job. We have regular jobs. We don't have like inheritance or anything.
Well, no, I don't care. I mean, I don't really give a shit.
No, but people seem to think that like our dads fund the magazine.
You wish they would, right?
Yeah, I
It's
was
like
like,
calling, like,
my
hey,
dad has
everyone
talked
thinks
to me
you're doing
10
it.
years, but like,
Right.
for sure.
When I was FaceTiming my dad the other day, and he was like, "Hey, like I lent you some money, like send it back," and you were like, "Can you lend me some money?"
Yeah, from like wire me from Germany.
Like I wired you this $800 from Germany. You seemed like you were doing really bad. I think.
You're like, another 800 would be just fine.
No, Dad, that was for last month's rent. Oh my god.
Yeah, totally.
That was for the last CDJs. We had
No, that was for the security deposit. Yeah. You're so stupid.
How do you get out of that half up front thing? Please tell me, because I'm
well,
going to move
Anika's
into
actually
a
looking for a place right now. So if
Oh
your
my God,
audience
if someone
wants
wants
to
to-
like help her get in touch with the like Chinese mafia to allow her to move into one of
I
these-
would love
Everyone DM Monica.
Seriously.
allowed
Start
to-
just sending her places.
Anywhere beneath 14th Street.
Exactly.
I have a great place.
Below
She's
10th.
been trying to reach my landlord. It's impenetrable. I have to pay my rent in cash every month, and I just have to be home on the same day during the day, and I get a knock on my door, and I'm
Weird.
paying cash.
And then if you don't have like thousands of dollars under your bed, you get like screamed at in Cantonese.
Well, yeah. I mean, I actually like I've tried to reach someone about one time like a pipe burst, and there's no way. Like it's really like every man for themselves. And so I just like know how to fix it now.
I almost moved to Chinatown. It could still happen.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I wasn't ready yet. I went to the Upper East Side.
What makes you? You did it backwards. You're supposed
I
to
know.
be scrappy and young and just,
Yeah, no. I did that in Bushwick though, so I like did the whole run.
Okay, so you saw this all happen, like Sophie was saying. Like
Yes.
it's already happened in Williamsburg. This Times Square scene.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think that there's not as much opportunity in Brooklyn as there is in Manhattan. I think Brooklyn's filled with jerks right up to the top. No offense, everybody. But there's a lot of people out there. And there's a lot of things going on, or whatever Bushwick people
I definitely
do.
lived in Brooklyn for 7 years and
You did?
nothing happened to me. And then I
You lived in Fort Greene and you were like, where's
No,
the stuff?
actually. And then I lived in the Bay Area for 2 years and I thought I'd die there. Like, no, it just got so much worse. And then I moved to Manhattan and I was like, actually, it's so different here. And I just became a full-blown elitist. I was like, you just actually have to
No, I
live
li-
in Manhattan or you're not in New York.
Yeah, I went to Prospect Park. I'd never been there. I just moved here and I like went for a walk and I was like, everyone here looks like they're in the band Grizzly Bear. Like, why are they all exactly 10 years
No, it's
behind
crazy.
culture?
I-
They all had like a baby wrapped around them, a dog, and were wearing.
It's actually
like,
so
buzz.
provincial.
Yeah, it's
Well, the millennials went there to retire. They turned it into a Portland out there.
and they have
Yeah.
not updated.
No, that's
They
it
need
for
to,
them.
like,
They're
update
done.
Their operating
They're
system.
done.
They actually know. I look around sometimes and I'm like, these are actually like machine generated. Like
Right, people-
Taylor,
Headlines
Brooklyn.
are like
Yeah.
2 inches lower now. Like you need to.
Like I feel like a narcissist saying this, but I'm just like this place is just so densely populated with NPCs, whereas compared to like other places are like
But how did that happen? I mean, does anybody want to opine? Because Brooklyn was cool. It was a thing at some
Those people
point.
just got old and graduated and
just
had
kinda-
children and then froze in time. And now
Right.
the children are in Manhattan, which is another like. I mean, they couldn't afford to live in like the West Village, so they're on 2 bridges.
Well, dude, my rent in Bushwick was way higher than even what I'm still paying.
Really?
Now. Yeah. One of the reasons I moved in, I was like, this is absurd now. This doesn't make any sense anymore. I hate all these people, and also I'm paying more than I would on 3 different Manhattan neighborhoods. Fuck this, So
Yeah, I don't know how even the culture, like I went to the Brooklyn Museum and they like turned what could have been like good exhibits into weird exhibits. It was like
Yeah.
queering Egypt.
Yeah,
where, like,
yeah.
like
it was not queering Egypt.
queering
There was
ancient
something.
Egypt.
I think Jerry Gagosian. Someone posted something about some Brooklyn museum.
And there was like a giant like,
Embarrassing.
bronze sculpture in the
Yeah.
that people were taking photos with and just was like, oh god, this is not my like alone day thing that I want to be doing.
Yeah.
they did a Rodin thing there that I don't know where it traveled from, but the
Oh,
whole
that's cool.
It was okay. But they had the drawers, they had the study drawers where you pull out and it would be the little things that he would make all the time in his hands. But everybody who's ever known anything about him knows that a lot of what he made was genitalia and private parts, and he was a sick old man, really. So in these displays, you would pull out the drawers and it would be a hand, missing spot, fingers, a foot. And on all the missing spots, I was just standing around telling people that's where the vaginas were. And they took them out. I was so upset about that. I was like, I can tell.
They censored Rodin.
Yeah, totally. They took all of the tiny little gross sculptures out of that show, and I'll never forgive the Brooklyn Museum for that.
Well, when queering Rodin comes,
Yeah, that's right. They'll queer it up
Put it
back the other way. There's a wrong time period for it. I saw some Ava Hess there. That was really cool. My big problem is with the borough itself and the people inside of it, and it just seems like the actions in Manhattan now.
Recently, I lost my phone in an Uber and it went to Flushing, Queens, so I had to go there and fetch it. And I gotta say, I really liked it there. It's like giant Chinatown. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We should move mini Chinatown to big Chinatown.
No, true.
Have you ever been to Flushing?
The food there is delicious.
No, but I read Preparation for the Next Life.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So like most people are just like working like food hand to mouth, like trying not to get deported. But I had the best meal of my life. It was so cheap. We should definitely.
It was good.
Yeah, that's where all of the good Indian food is and stuff like that. I only know that from watching YouTube videos of that guy that used to be a rapper, and he's a really big dude and he eats good food. That's the only reason I know it's in Flushing. I actually learned that from the internet, not from real life.
I mean, if you two ever lose your phone in an Uber, you'll have to go there. And
No. It's just an Android. They could have it.
Just replace it.
Yeah. I threw my phone off the 7 Mile Bridge into the Gulf of Mexico, whichever's on my right. And my friend's like, what'd you do that for? You don't have a phone now. I was sitting there quietly and I was like, I don't know why I did it. But it didn't. It actually
seems fun.
Yeah, but it actually didn't cause that big of a deal in my life. Like everybody thinks it's going to be such a big deal.
To not have your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I
you know
have
what
an iPhone 8 right now, and it's kind of like that. I'm like, damn, this is like using a sidekick. It has like a button on it.
I disagree. I really like my phone.
Oh, right.
I feel pretty attached to it. My
stuff
got stolen.
I threw it, but then I can easily get back into my social media accounts, and then my friends are just calling me, and then I just tell them with a new number. It's not a big deal.
You mean or?
Yes. Well, I got another.
Oh,
phone.
you mean you're not attached to like one particular?
Yeah. Who
device.
cares? Well, I thought that if I lost it in an Uber or if I threw it into the ocean on purpose,
right,
then my life would be bad.
Right.
But it actually makes almost no difference.
Digital history still exists.
Yeah.
That's just what I mean is I need.
My friends don't even care. Like, I'm like, didn't you notice I disappeared for 4 days? They're like, fuck no. Nobody gives a shit if I throw my phone in the ocean. They're like, you just turn another phone on and then everybody.
I disappeared for 4 days. You'd have a missing persons.
Madeline, I honestly can't even talk about this.
How long's it been since 4 days elapsed and you guys didn't talk about it?
Since we met,
I'd
it's
freak
not
out.
Because I would think that something really bad happened to you.
Because something really bad would have happened.
I get when I wake up, and the last message.
Oh.
We're, like,
And they're all unhinged and abusive.
Yeah, I know. No. It's not cute. They're not nice.
Wake up, bitch.
No, it's usually just a bunch of shit I have to do because you get up before me and you go to bed after me. I get so much sleep. You're never sleeping.
Is that new?
Well, no, now I don't sleep anymore. I'm weaning off an antidepressant, and it's like I'm just wired all the time. So I've not really been sleeping.
I've heard that happens.
It's really crazy. It sucks, and I'm not hungry either. It's actually kind of perfect for like.
Wait, are we going to talk about Effexor for a second? Because if so, I'd love to use the bathroom. Can I?
I don't need to get on my pulpit about Effexor.
maybe get on your pulpit about Effexor for a second?
No, are you gonna drink the mango smoothie? Is it good?
Yeah, you can have it.
No, you have it. Oh, I randomly don't like mango, but I don't know why I ordered it.
Can I have the small keys?
They're right there on the door.
plunger.
Just take all three of them. That'd be funny.
No, it was the one to the left or left. That
So
Are we doing okay? On the podcast?
I don't know.
I think you're doing.
How do you feel when you do a magazine?
Yeah.
Like when you start doing it, I'm sure you're like, oh, dude, we got all this dope shit. We're making a magazine. Then you put it all together. Is there a moment where you're like, I forget what we did? Or like, I'm not like that, but like, oh wait, is this good?
Yeah, of course, because you lose perspective as soon as you've looked at something too long. It's like when you say a word too many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll have like a collection of good work, but it stays fresh because Nat designs all of it. We don't have a hand in design at all. So she sort of will show us things, and like I think that pairing like work with art can really make or break the piece, which is why it's so important that we have a good art director, because like when you're reading something, like what color it is and what it's next to and like what the font is,
It matters.
like it is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where a good art director comes into play.
Layout.
Yeah.
Not as easy as it sounds. What an easy sounding word.
Right,
I had a
no.
WordPress once. That is not what it's like. It is really, really complicated.
It's really complicated and
Yeah.
it is a skill,
Yeah.
which I commend her for. And yeah, of course, we'll look back at the magazine and it's scary. And
But that's not what I mean. I mean, like, are you super confident, or do you have those things where you're like, you hit go, that's it, we're going to publish it
Right.
back, and then you start thinking, oh, fuck, is everybody going to like this? Or are you like, do you get to the end of the process and you're like, yo, it's dope, we're going to the show?
it's a little less personal because it's all other people's work. Until this
True.
issue, we didn't publish our own work in it. It felt like that with my book, where I was suddenly like, oh shit, this is my like diary scribblings that are like published, and I
Right.
have to start
Yeah. Talking about it.
right and like taking account for them and like actually thinking about them critically. I was talking to my therapist about them and was like, I didn't really like think about them that much, and now
People are asking you questions.
Right. I mean, like, people are extrapolating all of this meaning from the book that I didn't even intend, and they're, like, putting together.
You're not correcting them, are you?
No, of course not. I'm
Don't
like,
correct
yeah.
them. Yeah, exactly.
That was my intention.
That's very interesting.
That was a motif in the book. And they're like,
I'm glad you picked up on that.
yeah, they're like, we see how, like, water is really prevalent. And I'm like, the mother of all life, water. But no, I didn't intend any of that shit. I put these stories together, like,
But sometimes people see stuff that's real and that you didn't really know, right?
yeah, so does your therapist. But it's
Right,
not
right.
like it just happened. Yeah, I don't know. It was not that intentional. I wish that I was someone who could be so like Stanley Kubrick OCD about putting everything in.
Right.
But it's a little more organic.
The jump from everybody, it's weird. We live in a world now where everybody has kind of this internet experience where people think they've already met you before they've met you, or they know
Yeah,
you
that
before
is
they know you.
trippy, huh? We were just talking about this actually.
But yeah, that's a real thing. But when you put out a piece of art, a painting or a book or whatever, it gets a little more intense.
Especially if it's considered auto fiction. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people really start thinking that, they know something about you, they've met you, you guys are friends now.
Right. Or yeah, I mean, it's deeper than like looking at someone's Instagram, but even that is then like like what they did with their family on vacation last
Yes.
summer and like where they've been hanging out and what they're reading and
I always thought there's a Soko lyric line where she's like, you're going to get to know me through all these things. And like, maybe you really do know me, but I hope that you'll forgive it all when you finally meet me. You know what I mean? Because I almost like don't want to tell people like, oh, you don't know me. Well, actually you kind of maybe do, just a little, like,
totally.
here's the art, here's the thing. So instead of trying to convince people, you don't know me, you just met me. It's more like, I hope you'll forgive the things that you think you know about me.
Yeah,
so that
I'm
we
pretty
can-
like malleable. Like I can do whatever you
we could project whatever we want onto.
yeah. Like if you think you know me,
Tabula rasa, baby.
It's like new book, new me.
exactly.
I had a whole new thing.
Just to catch you up, we talked about how Nat is a great designer a bit and how that's really important to the work, and then
Autofiction.
fiction came out.
Autofiction ruined my life. I thought that shirt was so funny. I wanted to get a shirt I want to get a bunch of shirts like your shirts, but they're about my show.
And you bring this one.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that shirt. I'm gonna make that one.
I'm gonna get one that copies it that says WVFP ruined my life. I'm gonna actually copy a bunch of your shirts and things you say.
Sure.
Your work's just now appeared in Forever. You kind of just said to me that you only started putting your guys' work in now.
In this last
Yeah.
issue, I guess Anika
most
had
recent
an
one.
interview. And
Oh.
we both had
interviews.
Right.
So
okay.
we've never published our own work in print in Forever. We try to be really
I think interviews are like done though. We realized we were like, we were like trying to like use like we were like, how do we use the nepotism of ourselves?
right.
To get
Anika interviewed Emma Klein in this fantastic interview. It reads like a story. It's so good. And I interviewed.
It's dope.
Madeline's
Like,
interview
no.
is one of the most amazing interviews anyone's ever done. Madeline's interview with Madeline Cash.
I
you go.
interviewed myself.
You interviewed yourself? Oh, here we go. It's like when
It's the first thing in the
It's like with
magazine.
D.H. Lawrence, or even, I guess a better one's Freud, where he like dissects people who aren't in the room. Or D.H. Lawrence does a conversation with Abraham Lincoln. So stupid stuff like that. He like goes through history and like he's talking for other people while he interviews them.
Right. Yeah.
I love that stuff. It's really like Val Kilmer-esque. Like, I know the dead person enough that I could interview them as if they were here.
Totally.
Like, the whole thing's insane to me. I like your guys' interview. Who did the interview of the woman who did Alex Jones, the War on Alex Jones?
Oh yeah,
Keegan Swenson, our interviews editor, talked to Alex Lee Moyer.
Yes, I like that one.
He's our main interview editor. We had
Okay.
guests, but yeah, Keegan's great.
Okay.
How like heavy-handed are you guys with the editing? Do you outsource that, or do you feel like a lot of that is like that?
No, we do it all
You do it all. Okay.
We do it all.
Like when you say you have an interview editor, that's just someone that helped. Like you guys still have.
No, he'll do the interviews, but
Okay.
yeah, there's not as many of them as yeah.
But we'll like
He fully handles all the interviews.
we
Yeah.
handle all editing, and then we have the interns do kind of copy editing.
Do you have like, do people submit, or do you like reach out to people and ask
People
them?
send us a
People
ton of
submit.
submissions.
We get like 20 submissions a day. It's
Oh
crazy.
my
I
God.
wish it would
Like,
stop.
We're not being rude, not answering. We just like actually have regular jobs and cannot. But we only do unsolicited we only solicit work for print, and then we'll sometimes read things for online because we publish more frequently. But we just don't have enough like space to print. We have to like.
Yeah, so it's only printed.
Well, also people
solicited.
don't always know what like the theme is going to be,
Yeah.
so we're thinking about specific stuff, and I feel like increasingly sometimes we'll try to like get the rights to publish something older or do something.
Yeah, definitely. Like we published the like Leslie Jameson piece, which was from 2000. And
Yeah,
the
from 2000
the
and
Gary Indiana piece.
from his book in the 90s. Yeah.
Like it has history, and that like also like I said, our designer makes everything go together in this like synthesis, and we can't just like take a random submission.
You guys are so almost synonymous with eschewing the past, like starting something new. But then I hear you talk about publishing stuff from the 90s, and I think that that's kind of new. Like, I don't hear anybody doing stuff like that.
Well, McNally Editions is doing it.
Yeah.
McNally Editions is Lauren Stein, the former editor of the Paris Review, is doing this project in collaboration with McNally Jackson, where they reissue books that are out of print under the McNally label. And that was Rent Boy by Gary Indiana, which we excerpted. And then they also recently just did Emily Dickinson. Like, they're doing some crazy reissues.
Them to do
I don't talk about my love for Emily Dickinson anymore because it's like, I don't know.
It's
as an old
alienating?
yeah, it's like people don't like it, but I always
Really?
loved it. Yeah, I always loved Emily Dickinson.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I'll take her over all of those society writers from England. All those girls.
Oh, Martin.
What else you got? You got some more stuff? I don't even have to be here anymore. I'm too drunk to drive now. You're in the front seat. I'm in the back sleeping.
Oh, I was like, you have to drive somewhere now? No,
Oh my God, can you give me a ride?
No, I'm one of those dangerous New Yorkers that rents cars when they go on those limited vacations from here, but never drives otherwise.
Do you use like Turo or something?
No.
You just rent a car like a normal, like at a
Yeah, I have like an account.
cool.
Yeah, I used to travel a lot for work before COVID. So
What is your job?
I'm in production, TV, theater, film, stuff like that. We're cutting it, guys.
We are?
You're cutting it out.
Yeah, I'm cutting my job stuff out of this.
Okay,
Nobody gives a shit about that.
Oh, okay.
Are you actually?
No.
I
I don't know how to do it right.
Yeah, I was like, you won't cut anything.
The whole thing's a big joke because I don't know how to cut right. And then it looks
Yeah, I
stupid.
was hoping we could cut it when I went to the bathroom because it's a sign
No, I
of
can't.
weakness.
I get to.
Now you all know that I'm
Women shouldn't experience like anything like.
hunger,
Yeah.
having to pee.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I can cut it for you. I'm pretty like.
I bet you are.
Video editor.
Well, you know what? It was funny when she was asking you about that stuff. I figured like you're copywriter. So you have all of that kind of that back into this process under control. You know what I mean? Right? Is that like an easier part for you guys? Because you're
Madeline's
fucking do?
super just like competent at everything.
I'm pretty dyslexic though, so Anika really like catches things and has like a thoughtful eye. I'm more like a machine. Like she's good at like seeing like.
I literally don't. I just freak out if I see an M dash.
But
That's
you
not
just like rearrange things properly and make them beautiful and like offer like really like thoughtful criticism where I will like look at it just really objectively and kind of go through and be like, this needs to be cut. This needs to be cut. It's about 25
I think you
minutes
also
too long.
just respect writers more than me though, because it's not like you're not attentive to the sentence in your own work. Like you're clearly like still working at a language level, but you just kind of have more.
I think that I give them too much credit though. I'll be like, this is this way for a reason, and you're like, what? What if we
That's an
What if it
that's
was
an interesting
better?
question. What kind of feedback do you guys give? Do you answer somebody very light gloved, like here's what we're suggesting, or you just mail them back hard and dirty the edit?
You do the best at this. You're so gentle because writers are so sensitive, and we're writers. And
I go into the Google
Sure.
Doc when I'm really drunk.
right,
And then suggestion mode. Yeah, and I usually wouldn't change. I guess occasionally we've like suggested like thematic changes or like an actual like difference in a story, but usually it's just
Cutting, right?
like cutting and like also just like phrasing and like making the sentences really strong, which I feel like if you're just trying to rearrange a sentence, you're not really
right
undermining.
I want the end in an article or like I want it. I want it to look proper. I want people to respect.
Want it to be pretty.
And since you're kind of reaching out to people sometimes who are not necessarily, like sometimes you're reaching out to people, they're not necessarily, high up in the writing world. People like that want more feedback, don't they? Don't they appreciate a little more?
For like web, yeah, we'll give feedback. I guess I try to I try to accept like fully formed pieces that I only have to suggest little things for. I usually don't take on a piece where I'm like, what if it ended like this instead? Because frankly, just because I don't have much time. Like I have a job, I have a side job, and then I have this, and I try to like write my book. So
Well, also sometimes when there's too much distance between what it is and what you want, it's not really worth. It's like
I think
Right.
the thing that's more exciting though is like reaching out to big writers that we love and like working on their stories and being like, oh, maybe I get to make like one or two small changes to this story.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to
It's
be?
like you're editing history.
And like, how are we going to make it like fit into and like the honor of that
But
is
then,
really.
like, when the interns would go in and are like making grammatical.
Oh my
changes to
God, when they
Sheila
were,
Hennig's
like-
piece, and I was like,
I'm
you
like-
guys, she knows what she's doing.
Let's
Like,
just assume that like Sheila Hennig knows how to use a comma.
right, yeah. Like if she has like like gratuitous amount of commas, just like let them rip. Like it's fine.
right.
You'll let the interns hit the suggesting mode.
Well,
You let
just
them
for
in the document?
copywriting. So for like.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
To make sure that like no one's name is spelled
Misspelled or
wrong.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're too controlling. They do a lot of like creative work. It's not like they don't, but
They go to the post office a lot.
Skylar is amazing on socials.
We recently
Branding.
got distribution because I accidentally sent 1,000 of our magazines to Quebec instead of Chinatown, which was like
They're weirdly spelled the same way.
they're spelled so similarly. I'm very dyslexic, and it was just like a really expensive mistake. So now
They have them though,
all of our magazines are in Canada.
and they're loving it.
There.
Hey, I was thinking we should maybe try to get put into some bookstores in Quebec.
Well, we should probably hit up like the coolest places in Montreal,
Right.
like McGill and stuff.
I was
yeah,
totally.
because they're all over there anyway.
We'll
so
talk
it'd be
about
so
this.
much cheaper. Yeah, we should.
And what are they doing in Montreal? Nothing. They
They're
might as
sitting
well be
in a
written.
warehouse being. I found someone to distribute them in Montreal, so they're instead
They're
of
being
like,
shipped out of there instead
Yeah,
of
they're
from
being
my
shipped-
apartment in Harlem.
So I was trying to send them to us, and I sent them to Quebec.
Oh, that's fine. They need it. They need a little
But
spice
that's why
in
we
their
need
life.
so much help, you guys. And if you love the magazine,
You'll
you
come to
just
the
have
ball.
to come out.
I make a lot
on
of beer
Father's
trash
Day,
errors. Yeah.
June 18th.
Also, if you just like are a business-minded person who wants to work pro.
Wait, what day is it?
Father's Day, June 18th.
Is that of interest?
I was mistaken.
And my birthday
I might have
is
said
June
it wrong.
19th. So
It's
at midnight, we're all ringing in my 19th birthday. So very exciting.
Let's say you love Forever Magazine. You're going to go to this party anyway.
Really? That would be
That's a good thing. Like you love Forever Magazine. You want to help the cause. You want to be part of the scene. That's a good thing. Let me tell you guys who don't have any idea about this. The party's still going to be really fun. I've been to some Forever Magazine parties. I saw some really cool, weird band at the last one with the baby and stuff.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but let me tell you this. If you don't even know about the magazine, you should check it out, but you should still go to the party. And for any dudes out there asking why you would go to a Forever Magazine party, you're supposed to buy a woman a ticket. It's like a gala. You go there as a date.
Or
Get it together, people.
Thing a woman could buy a
Yeah.
man ticket.
Or a woman.
Listen,
Well,
if you're a single
that's
guy
true.
in New York City and you want to meet the most annoying women that you've ever met,
but stunning.
not true.
But
That's
so
not true.
beautiful.
I like the broads at the Forever.
Like
events.
just like
ruin my life.
Yeah.
That's true.
Also, it'll be the same as all the parties. It's going to be really fun. It's just going to be catered and we're going to be all in black tie.
And Matt Donovan's going to be there.
Oh,
and he
hell
is
yeah.
really a cutie. And he's fun to, kind of make fun of all the time.
Totally.
If you pass
Steve
it.
Dozinger is going to give a toast, which is a huge honor.
We have a lot of
We have a lot of surprises
basically,
in store.
Everyone who buys a ticket gets a raffle ticket, and we have a lot of downtown establishments. I don't want to like blow them up just yet, 'cause
Okay,
we
cool.
haven't come out with it yet, but like donating either like baskets or services that
It's going to be like a white elephant party where everyone gets something they like really want.
Nice.
It's gonna be, like,
or you could win like a bunch of like kitschy girl jewelry, and then you can go give it to
yeah.
You're going to get what you want whether you like it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of
And we have a literal classically trained Italian opera singer.
She's amazing.
And I bought a half of a baby grand piano.
Did you actually?
Yeah. It was
Okay.
$400. It was really cheap. It seems like ridiculous. David's gonna go get it with some men.
They said we couldn't put a baby grand in there, only an upright.
Is it? No, wait. Oh, shit. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do with the baby grand? It's not gonna fit in my
You need to learn how to play it.
I live up a 5-floor walk.
Yeah. They said no baby grand.
Oh, shit. Wait. But it's so small.
So hit us up if you have an upright piano.
if anyone
also.
wants
Yeah.
a baby grand, we're selling a baby
If
grand.
anyone
for
wants to trade us a baby grand piano,
$400.
perhaps for an upright piano, and deliver it to us.
Yeah, apparently it has really good acoustics, but it needs to be tuned. I was like, I can't do that. I think my dyslexia translates to like that situation.
That's very funny.
Anyway,
When I was an
have we only
orchestra
been
tech, the
recording for
piano.
8 minutes, or is that the time?
That's the time.
Oh my god.
When I was an orchestra tech, the piano tuners were like the bane of my existence.
Oh yeah,
no,
you were
it's
an
fine.
orchestra.
I was the piano tuners are always very serious women, and they need total silence. I don't think they need total silence, but they demand it.
No, they definitely need.
No, they think no, they don't need me.
have to
No,
reverberate
I could
somewhere.
still turn on violin lights, lady. That's how it always was. It was like,
I don't know much about music. Thank God that music's over.
dude, I'm really interested in the opera singer.
Opera
Did you go
singer,
out and
sick.
find one, or did you just really love her?
No,
You
she's
already
really
know her?
Cool. Her name's Diana. She used to run this podcast called Girl Talk, which was.
Oh, I already know who it is.
Oh, you do?
But keep going.
Yeah, she's sick. I won't say anymore.
You're the girl talk girl that comes sing? I love
Yeah.
her so much.
Oh my
Why
God.
did you call her that? Why'd you use her real name? You used a real name. Everybody knows her by another name. Okay, fine.
That's
I don't
how
care.
I know her.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, we know her as
I
an
met her
opera
later in
singer.
life.
Really? So I don't know if she even knows this. Maybe she can learn this here on the show today. Girl talk. Christ love her. I actually tried to get you on this show with somebody who appears in this magazine, I believe. And your friends, they didn't want you to be on the show. Just letting you know if you didn't know what happened.
no?
Well, I knew some. First of all,
We'll make an
first of
intro.
all, I don't like just fucking calling people. I came down and begged Anika because how important is she? But like everybody, I don't really like.
My manager and my mentor.
I know,
My guardian.
But some people I like to ask their friends. Be like, yo, what is she doing now? She's doing the opera. What's going on? And her friends to me were like, leave her the fuck alone. And I was like, oh. So I hope you know that. I hope they gate kept you. I hope you wanted that.
She's pretty offline right now, but you'll meet her and we'll do a nice.
I am. Now I'm going there. I'm going to give her the Anika treatment and be right in her face like, you should probably come on.
We've been in like a daily, pretty active group chat now.
Oh, really?
Let's pick out.
Well, you could tell her I'm a casual fan, always was.
Definitely.
She remembers who the fuck I am.
Yeah, we've been shopping for outfits lately. Went to Nordstrom yesterday.
Oh, shut up.
Your hard-earned
You're rolling around with the
charity
girl talk girl
dollars
trying on
everywhere.
dresses? I'm sorry.
Yeah, wait, what did you end up getting? No.
Nothing.
And then I spent stupid money on that dress. Fine. Whatever. I sold some internet picture, so now I have some money.
Do you want me to talk about Anika's red dress from the last party where like she would come out into the smoking area?
It was pink and she
Was
looked
it pink?
fantastic.
It was wonderful.
It was red.
I was saying red.
It was red.
I'm going red.
Red?
I'm going
Okay,
red.
you're right.
It's okay.
You can correct me anytime.
It was red, and I really need to return it.
No.
Bag baby.
You still have it.
Here's mine. I've seen so many pictures of you, and is it really bad?
It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's like the.
She would come into the smoking area. She would float out into the smoking area, and everyone would move away from her. And then she would turn around to go back in, and they would all turn to look at her. Like as soon as she turned around, they would all turn and look.
Oh, that
Like-
was a nice dress. I mean, I had to like bolster Anika into that dress because it was like corset like situation of she lives like a pretzel, getting her in that dress, and then I had also borrowed a pretty lovely.
I was like, is this like Michaela Stark?
I mean, we were like it was becoming like body modification getting you in it.
Yeah.
And then I had one too, and I couldn't breathe in my dress, and it started to give me like panic attacks. So I just wore a big T-shirt though.
What you were wearing was at least comfortable enough to scale some of the building.
I
You
did
at least
scale
had
the building.
enough flexibility.
I do get like a certain amount of drunk where I have to climb.
You got so much energy.
I do like to climb. Or like I think that like I don't know. People say like women like to be close to the floor, but I like to be up high,
Totally.
which probably means I'm trans. So I didn't really think about it.
Trans atmospheric.
My friend Hannah always tries to convince me that I'm trans, and I was like, Hannah, you shouldn't say that.
I
Well-
love that. I remember you were sending me a bunch of pictures of girls' clothing at Beacons yesterday, and I was like, I'm boy.
Right,
It's
right.
like, what if?
Yeah.
What if I wore this polo shirt every day? What would you do?
Can we do, maybe there's an event coming like that. Not the gala, but maybe there's an event coming like that.
No, I like that we have to do this sort of forced performative ultra femininity, and that's just like the worlds we've created for ourselves. I actually really like it.
Well, what do you
I
mean?
think it's
Because you've always been
individual.
doing that, so now you have to do it? What do you mean?
It's just part of it. Like it's part of the magazine. It's part of the
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
girly or something.
Unfortunately, it's like unapologetically feminine. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Right.
Because it's run by women, and like it's not. I mean, like Heavy Traffic is like very masculine.
Because it's run by
Just, like,
men.
and because it's run by men. I
That's
mean,
funny. That's exactly what I thought when you said that. That's so funny. But you guys really are, that really is like a polar
it's
thing.
so stark. Our magazine is like adorned with like cute little squiggles. There's like a brutalist building. It's like just text walls and like plain. And they're like, this is what I want, and we want it to be like Thomas Bernhard. It's like like unpenetrable. It's so hard to read.
Yeah.
We're like, we want to make it easy. We love you. We're sorry. Like, yeah, right.
That's interesting. Do you think that they occupy the middle with you, though?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. There's so much going on downtown, right? And sometimes I try to look at them and find out like where they are. I love what you just said. You know, all the boy stuff's like so evident, but like, where's the rest of it as it locates to everything else? You know, like I heard read you say something about Compact Magazine, about how if they're the right, then you're the middle.
If they're the right and the drift
think-
is the left.
Is that kind of what you were saying? If
I think
so,
we're
then
just trying to
so.
post. I mean, we're a literary magazine, so we have the privilege of being like post-political, which I guess that Compact and The Drift have the burden of having like nonfiction programs, which
Yeah,
You know,
It's
we
a
don't
burden,
have to
all right.
Fall into a party line because we're just publishing.
Well, you could though. I mean, I know that
Right.
you don't, but it is totally.
Right, I mean, we could be like canvassing for Roe v. Wade or something.
It could be a lot more like Mars.
for or against.
Well, wait.
I don't remember which one we want.
But you've appeared in Mars, right? I mean, you guys.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys.
I was in the first issue,
Yeah, you guys could have
but
looked
Noah's
at that.
my friend.
Yeah.
Like, and Noah's.
Does Mars have a political lilt? Yeah.
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of seen as just being a little. It's not Compact Magazine, but it's a little. I just wonder, like, is that kind of thing intentional from you guys? Like you're locating yourself
No.
in the scene, or that's just who you are?
No, definitely not. I mean, I appreciate Compact's like in how intentional and thoughtful they are with their work, but
It's nice of you to say that.
I don't know.
You didn't have to do that. I'll disparage them all day. I don't care.
Sure, yeah. I don't know. Do you think that we like have a place positioning or?
No, I mean, I think we're arguing for the idea that literature is less political, maybe, you know what I mean? And like,
A formalist kind of within the four corners
yeah,
of
well,
the
just
page.
the idea of like, even like the turnover at Hobart and people being like, Elizabeth Ellen is so radical because of the kinds of fiction she would publish. And like, I just don't think that's like very radical to be publishing different kinds of fiction. I think fiction is fiction and you have a lot more
Right.
leeway. And I think like, we have a lot less political responsibility than Compact or The Drift, which I
Well,
feel.
because they set themselves up like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not our ambition.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend Alex Perez, who did the interview that like sort of like turned everything over at Hobart with Elizabeth Ellen. And he was saying this thing where he was like, he's pretty like based like more than we are, I guess. But he was like, I like Forever because it's like you might have like any type of character in it, and it like wouldn't be so like hysterical to have like an unvaccinated character or like a pro-life character in a
Right.
Forever story.
Right.
But it's like that's not
No one would be shocked
that doesn't
for
seem
that.
extreme to me at all. That just seems like we're an American magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
You're in a way, at least for Manhattan, bringing that back, don't you think?
Bringing what back, America?
Well, you say it's damn right. No, they're bringing America back. Yeah, no, kind of. Like when you say that that's an American thing, well, not found lately in Manhattan right before you were here. Do you think that maybe, I don't want to use the word pioneering,
I
but
think that stuff is in Manhattan though. Like
But there was like a swing to the right, and
there was maybe
there
just like an
were
iron
swings,
curtain.
right? There was
yeah.
like, it went way this way in this town and then went way this way. And now we have some things lately that are claiming, hey, I'm not responsible for that.
Well, I just think that like literature gets like sequestered by politics,
Totally.
where like the major magazines were like in this sort of like, you know, walled garden where they could never have anything like that. And then us trying to have stuff that feels fresher and newer without explicitly being reactionary. Or trying to just being like, this is what things are. I don't know, because
Or making any excuses, right?
Well, we're just
Right.
trying. We're just like not trying to have like a moral stance.
I feel like you're just not like assigning, not to speak for you, but like not assigning morality to something that would
Yeah,
otherwise be
I don't
placed
think-
within that isn't necessarily political.
I don't think
would
literature
say.
is that important.
Yeah.
I know I love that because I feel the same way about pictures sometimes when people make, you know, like a picture is a picture and a story is a story and they're objects and that's art. But sometimes people are, when things get political in this country, this town heats up and maybe we just went through a time period. But one of the things I like about this magazine is when I saw the interview with the woman from,
Alex Lee Moyer.
thank you. She's so smart. It wasn't prefaced by anything, and that's what had been going on up until the post-COVID time period we're in, where everything at least it would, if you saw that in 2019, it definitely would have had like a preface, and it would have been like,
A trigger
oh, she's, yeah.
Yeah, and that's on Keegan Swenson, honestly. If I wrote that interview, I probably would have had an introduction. He's a really, really good interviewer.
Yeah, he did well.
And most of his interviews have intros. That was definitely really considered,
Yeah, okay.
you know? And he was, I don't know, he watched that movie critically and that movie's so interesting. Have you seen it?
I'm trying to get her on the show. I don't want to talk too much about the movie, but
But have you watched the film?
yeah, I've seen it.
What do you think about it?
I don't want to do it too much.
Okay.
You're not getting any free airtime over here. She's wonderful, but she told me, I'm telling them right now. She told me that she didn't have a project right now. She doesn't want to come in the show. And I tried to explain to her, but you live here and the show's about people who live here, not people who have
Does she
projects.
live here?
No, I don't think she lives here.
What? No, she was.
doesn't. No, I think she lives elsewhere.
Yeah, I think so too.
Cut this out too. Cut all of this out as well.
I'm serious, old dude.
Well, she was here though for a while.
She was here.
She might
Well,
have
she
been
was
in
here when I
town.
was talking to her. So
might have been in town for sure.
okay.
Um,
Well, at any rate, I was trying to get her on the show for a while, but maybe I shouldn't because this interview was so good. I just want to drop a little thing about that because now I said so much bullshit. But in that interview, you were saying the intro. I don't know if you were like saying this, but the intro is like in the interview because this guy's so good at interviewing. Is that kind of what you were getting at? Like he's able to. You don't need an
yeah,
intro.
yeah.
That's what I hope to do on this show sometimes. And I did think about that when I read that actually.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, you put the story in the story.
Right.
Without having
when you
to-
have like a finite amount of time, you have to sort of work with
When you don't have enough paper,
right.
when the paper is so expensive.
So you're going to be doing press on this for a while, Earth Angel, because it's brand new. You're still doing press on it, right?
I guess so.
Oh, she's got a little press cycle left.
You are?
Oh yeah. I feel like you do.
I think so.
Do you know something I don't know?
But my question is like, is it really far in the past for you, even though you're doing press on it and it's just
It's
come out?
very far in the past. It's definitely like its own thing now, and I can't even really look at it.
Do you have other stuff? I mean, because it's, yeah. So you're transported away a lot of times. You're working on something, but you're talking about this all the time. And
Working on a book and then like robotically pivoting back to talking about Earth Angel. I mean, I've been working on it for like 4 years now. So I when I started writing it, I was living with my mom and
Right.
it was 22. No, so it's so far away. But I have so much love for it and how it's evolved and like the cover artists and just everything. It all came together with forever, and I don't know.
Well, thank you for being here, Anika Jade Levy and Madeline Cash, the author of Earth Angel. They're calling you the alt-lit it girl. I hate that phrase, but that's what they're calling you, and it's true, everybody. So write your book now, because there's a queen in town. Thank you very much, girls, for being here. Forever Magazine.
you.
Go to the gala.
Yeah, thank you guys. Wow.
Thanks, guys.